I'm giving away $200 of Bitcoin in the month of May. All you gotta do to enter is subscribe to the channel and like and comment on every video for the maximum number of entries, and I'll be picking 6 winners at the end of the month. What are you waiting for? Hey there, crypto friends. Thanks again for joining me here for another episode of the IOST News Review, where I go over all the most important IOST news of the last week. I appreciate you guys for jumping on this so I can do a quick review here. You can get all of your great IOST news all in one video. So I didn't do a video last week on IOST, so there is a ton of stuff to talk about today, and I want to jump right into it. So we're going to look at a little bit of price action here first with IOST and exactly how it's been looking here. You know, it's gone down a little bit in rank in CoinMarketCap. In general, you know, we've had a bit of up and down here over the last week or so. You can see right now it's sitting at just a little bit over 1 cent, down about 2% today. But if you look at the 7-day chart here, you can kind of see exactly what's been going on. So I mean, we've just been really, you know, bouncing around here in the same similar channel pretty much for the last week or so. And there's, you know, so we haven't seen a lot of price movement. Now we saw a lot of other alts in the whole scene, you know, have some pretty good runs. And so I'm still looking for IOST to have a really nice run here. There's been so much bullish news for IOST, so I'm really surprised about this action right here. But I definitely think that we're going to be seeing a good little run here for IOST very soon. So definitely excited about that. All right, so let's jump into this. So in the title here, I talk about how IOST is crushing Ethereum, Tron, and EOS, and I want to talk a little bit about what that means and why I'm saying that and feel very bullish about this. So here is a block height comparison for the 80 days after mainnet launch for all 4 of these big development platforms. So when we talk about development platforms for like dApps or decentralized applications, right? Everyone pretty much knows Ethereum. They were the creator of the smart contract and pretty much the first dApp development platform. And then we had Tron and EOS come along, who have you know, then shot over here into the top 15, top 20 tokens, and are both developing, you know, dApps on their platform as well. But we can see here in this chart that in the first 80 days compared to after their mainnet launch, which IOST has just launched here in late February, you can see IOST has had a block height of a lot larger than all 3 of these other chains. So we're looking at a little bit close to 15.3 million blocks that have been, you know, essentially, you know, pushed to the blockchain versus, you know, what has happened in the first 80 days for these other ones. So only about 250,000 for Ethereum, about 1.6 million for Tron, and 12.7, the closest one with EOS after their first 80 days. So this is a really bullish start for a platform like this, and that's why I'm really surprised to see that you know, they're still only in the about the 50th range on CoinMarketCap. Because IOST has been one of the strongest launches that I've ever seen for a development platform like this. Even some of the other smaller development platforms who are trying to be what we call now the Big 4, right? So IOST now makes the 4th in the Big 4 here, which is Ethereum, Tron, and EOS. And so when you look at this, also too, the data for you know, current block height comparison between the Big 4, exactly where we're at today. So the last chart was just the first 80 days after mainnet launch, but let's look at where we're actually at today with block height. And IOST has actually surpassed Ethereum and Tron for how many blocks have been committed to the blockchain thus far. They do have quite a ways to go against EOS here, but I do think that with the amount of amazing development that's coming out, in particular here with some of the really cool dApps that I'm going to talk about here later, I think we're going to see this this, you know, kind of equaling out here. If you don't know what a block is, obviously a block is a transaction that's packaged together and then committed to the blockchain. And so that could be, you know, for any type of dApp that's going on or any transaction on an exchange would ultimately result in a block being pushed to the blockchain. And so it's a pretty decent indicator on how busy a blockchain itself actually is. Now, obviously, some of these chains have a little bit slower block time, so that definitely is something that you would take in consideration here. But I think this is incredibly bullish news, and this just shows how quickly IOST is crushing these other development platforms, which I'm actually really excited about. So definitely good bullish news here for IOST. All right, so moving on, there's actually a really great giveaway that IOST is partnered up with CoinGecko on right now. And so they're giving away 28,000 IOST which will be, you know, in addition to free accounts. If you don't already have an IOST account, you can get a free account, and they're going to be dropping 200k IOST tokens for people to try out dApps. So if you haven't tried out any of the really cool dApps on IOST yet, they're literally going to give you free tokens just to go play and mess around with some of these dApps. I mean, how cool is that, right? So you can see here that they kind of have a breakdown of the winners. First place gets 7,000, second place gets 5,000. So they're going to draw a couple of different winners. So you have a really good chance of getting into this. So there's a bunch of different ways to enter. It's a Gleam contest. If you don't know Gleam, you just come along and you basically, you know, go down the list, and you know, you can click on each one of these things. Like I'll click on this last one that I don't have. So I've already done a bunch of the entries here. And you can go and get your entry. So you just, oh, here, just look at their CoinGecko listing on IOST. Great, I did that. So now I'm going to come here, press continue. Boom, I got one more entry. So if you guys want to enter in this contest, super easy to do. I'll put the link down in the description of the video so you can enter and get in on this and possibly get yourself some free IOST and try out some dApps for free too. So, and CoinGecko is actually a really cool platform if you haven't checked them out. They have some really great metrics on exchange volumes and trading, and so it's a really good place to see that and make a comparison to places like CoinMarketCap. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about here is the IOST partnership with Chainlink. This is, if you guys don't know Chainlink, Chainlink was a Binance Launchpad IEO, and they have done incredibly well. Chainlink is essentially a blockchain oracle, so they're kind of the glue between real-world data, things that are happening in the real world, and the things that are going to then be pushed to the blockchain. And how do you get that data? So how do you say, oh, well, what was the score of the game last night? Okay, well, I can push that through this oracle, and then I can use that within the blockchain world. And so there's a lot of different applications that would be using something like this, but you can see essentially they're one of the leading solutions for oracles in the whole decentralized blockchain world. And you know, you can use it for things like you know, lending platforms, package tracking, IoT devices. So if you have data coming from an IoT device into the blockchain, it essentially takes that information and packages it and, you know, pushes it to different blockchains. So they work with multiple blockchains. Which is really cool because cross-chain interoperability is a really big thing in my opinion. And in the future here, we're going to need complete interoperability amongst all these chains. And so Chainlink is actually really doing a great job on facilitating that. And so IOST is now partnered with Chainlink to be able to bring that type of data to dApp developers. Yet another bit of bullish information. And it also gives dApp developers a lot more to work with too, which is really great. I'm actually thinking about doing a dApp on IOST in addition to running my node. If you guys don't know, I run a node on IOST, the IOST stash node, and you guys can vote for me. I actually am ranked number 13, I think, in annual yield results on IOST ABC, so you get a really good return because I have a low amount of people who are voting for me right now. And so yeah, so in a year you get, I think it's like 38% annualized return, that's pretty amazing, guys. So definitely go check out my node and vote. But in general, you know, I think what their IOST and Chainlink is opening up to the dApp development platform is actually really cool because you can get some of that real world data in here and start to do some really amazing things on their dApps. So definitely really cool news there with Chainlink. The next thing that is really bullish that I thought was, and interesting too, because you don't see a lot of platforms doing this, but they're essentially launching this IUSD stablecoin, and right now it's in beta, so they just launched this. I've actually looked into this before, and I was going to do a full tutorial about it, but you know, they're just in the very early beta stages of this, and I want to wait till it gets a little bit more used and stable. But essentially what they're doing is they're creating this IUSD, right, version of a stablecoin, which you can then swap between Ethereum stablecoins like TUSD and USDC. So I know there's a lot of acronyms being thrown out there in general, but these are all stablecoins that are ERC20 compatible stablecoins, right? And essentially, you know, what this does is it helps with liquidity within the IOST system. You can be able to trade these out for IOST versions essentially, and then, you know, their whole plan here is, as you see, you know, they just launched here, but their whole plan is to be able to get this up and running, get kind of this proof of concept going, and then be able to have this something that you can do on exchanges, so you can buy, you know, these IUSD on an exchange, and then be able to convert them, you know, to storage, just like you would any other stable coin, right? So if you wanted to sell your Ethereum for a good price, like more than what you bought it for, Then you jump into a stable coin. Well, same thing here as I think the plan here for IOST, IUSD, to be able to, you know, easily swap out your IOST and then be able to go back and forth in this kind of stable. And really, I think that the great thing about that is it will work really great for dApps. So, you know, IOST is a dApp development platform, and having a stable coin that the developers can work with, actually it makes it, I think, a lot easier for them to be able to have set rates for things and people know what to expect. So really great news for the developers out there on the platform, and I think also for the consumers too. So if you guys are staking your rewards or doing other things like in gambling gaps or other dApps out there, gambling games or other dApps out there, definitely a cool thing to be able to look into here. So if you look at their website, it's actually a really simple thing. I have both my wallets loaded up. You have to have MetaMask and also iWallet. And then you can basically trade your True USD or Circle USD into the IOST version of that. And so that's how you can kind of swap between the Ethereum and IOST chains there. And they're going to add some more tokens here as they go too, as part of their roadmap. So very cool thing. Definitely go check that out. I'm going to keep an eye on this IUSD here, so I think you guys should too. All right, so just to kind of round things out here, always love to talk about the actual dApps that are launching on the platform, and IOST has now teamed up with a developer called Block Game, and they do mobile games. And so they actually have a couple of mobile games that they're, like, I wouldn't say reskinning, but they're redoing for IOST in general, and which is actually pretty cool. So it's IOST Legend and Expedition 2 are the two games that are going to be coming out on the IOST platform. And it looks like IOST Legend is going to launch late May. Expedition 2 will be early June, so they're coming out pretty soon here, and within pretty good amount of each other. So you can see here, the IOST Legend is basically a reskin of their classic game that they already had. It's an isometric, top-down kind of like adventure game, right? Where you can there's tokens, right, that you can earn. So basically you're going around, you're killing stuff, you're killing bosses, you're attacking cities, you're doing mining, and you can earn IOST tokens in the game, which is really cool. So I'm definitely going to be checking out this game for sure. And then the other one is Expedition 2, which is a 3D MMORPG. And it is a mobile one, so it's a mobile-based proof of work kind of fantasy-themed game. And so you can see kind of some screenshots here. I wish we had a little bit of better screenshots of this one, but in general, it looks interesting. You guys, if you guys can see, a lot of the stuff does look like it is in Chinese. So I don't know if they're going to be releasing this also with English and, you know, translations, or if it's going to be all strictly Chinese-based. They don't actually say that here in the article, but I'm going to be following up obviously with these two games, and I might be doing a review specifically on one of them, because I love adventure games, I love RPGs, and so something like this, these two games are definitely right up my alley for things I would want to individually review. So yeah, I think that's it for today. I appreciate you guys joining me here for this quick IOST news review, where I go over all the latest news on IOST. Make sure you guys vote for the Crypto Stash node, the IOST Stash. I'd love your votes. Until next time, stash that crypto, friends.